One. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you today. Uh-oh, I'm gonna mute you guys out. Good to see you guys today. All right, I'm gonna just temporarily mute you all. We're gonna go ahead and get going. And let's see here what I got.
Yeah, that's me. I'm on the call.
Yes, you are. Good to see you on the call. All right, see primary window. Okay, we're gonna start here. Now, welcome today to the call. I want you to do this for me. If in fact, until I come and ask questions, if you could mute your line, I'm going to turn my music off out of respect for your time. You don't need to listen to my music and get caught up into that. So, let me go ahead and also close down. I need to close down the Skype. I don't want other things popping up, notifications and stuff from people. So today, we are going to do something pretty interesting. We're going to talk about this idea of leadership. So I'd like to go ahead and welcome you to this Zoom. And as I do this, I want you to bear with me because some things may be a little offensive to you and it's not intentional. It's really meant to challenge. As none of us are perfect, right? We're all in need of improvement. But if you're going to have a business, it's your company. Wherever company you sign up with, it's your business. Not the provider of the service, not the provider of the product at all. And if you're going to get through this idea, I want to help the core group of those of you who choose to lead. If you want to lead, it's not about being popular or doing what everyone else is doing. Everybody's already doing that. And when you do what everyone else does, you now hold no responsibility. So only options you have is to keep starting over. So it doesn't matter if you're a strong person. It doesn't matter if, in fact, you believe you are the greatest speaker. What matters is if you choose to lead. And that leadership, you're going to find out today, isn't really, as we take a look, as in this entire series that we're going to do on leadership, it really isn't about you already having all the goods. It's about your choices. And if you want to be a great leader, you're going to need to be an excellent servant, period. You need to serve the people who you're responsible for. And trust me, if you're a mommy or a daddy, right, or if you have people who have to look to you for something, you're already leading. You just may not be leading. You may be leading them nowhere if you're not going anywhere. So that's what I want to make sure we cover. So here's a question. How many of you guys, you know what, Dwayne? I think I want to do this. I want to be a part of this leadership circle. If it's going to help me to actually produce results and lead people who also can get results, type in the number one. I think this is going to be key because it really does get down to the choices. Okay, good. What we're going to do now, I'm going to talk to you about the all-inclusive leader. And then in our next training about this, right, which I'm debating on when that is, as I'm told by my son that they believe that my daughter-in-law is going to be delivered any time. I want to make sure that I can cut and run when it's time. What I mean by that is I may not schedule this for this week. The next one may not be until Sunday night or Monday. But for now, the all-inclusive leader. And this I want you to catch as we're kicking this off. I want you to note that leadership really will get down to several things. But let's take a look at history. And let's look at a couple of things so we can actually take this position up properly. What does it mean to be the all-inclusive leader? As we look at this concept, let's take a look at where we've come from as individuals. Let's take a glance at history. The history of merchandising. As we look at merchandising, there's a great, interesting view that I have. I have a perspective. As I look at the history of merchandising, I see different companies were on top. They led for decades or an entire decade, or they've been leading for so long. However, in their leadership, they didn't navigate. They continue to do what they've always done. And then unfortunately, it made way for the new person, the new one on the block. So let's take a look together. How many of you remember this company called Sears Roebuck? And for me, it's where I bought my first brand new computer, right? It's also where my parents would buy a pair of socks or a belt or a pair of shoes, where my dad would get his tools right? Sears. Anybody remember that store? It's in my lifetime. They were so big. They did joint ventures with NBC. They had the best of everything. And if you ever returned one of their tools, you got a brand new one for free because they stood by them. This company was doing it all. By 2004, they were ready to file bankruptcy, and the only way they could stay alive was to merge with Kmart. But that's Sears. So what's interesting is Montgomery Ward. Anybody remember that one? You remember Montgomery Ward's? No, but don't worry. There's going to be a connection between this and leadership, so just hang tight. Anybody remember Montgomery Ward's? I remember buying my first tractor for cutting on my family's grass. And also I'd go there and buy my kids clothes or toys or their bedroom, right? You used to work there. Wow. Okay. Where are they now? That's the question. These questions are essential. And when it comes to network marketing and home business, we got to ask ourselves, where are they now and why aren't they now? Let's go ahead and take a look-see. Anybody, so for those of us who are 50 and older, do you remember G.C. Murphy's? I remember G.C. Murphy going down there. I remember the 5 and dime. I remember as a child, my parents taking me. And by the time I became a 20-year-old, I couldn't find, you might find one or two, but there was only a few items in there before they went bankrupt. So interesting. Kmart, the one I told you that merged with Sears, and they're both gone. Can I give you a couple, let me tell you something. I'll never forget it. I'm one of those people that was on the internet in the 1980s. And when I was there, I remember the day I was trying to buy my computer, there was a Salesforce who was there. I was while waiting to find out if my application was approved, right, for my computer. I was talking with a guy who was there attempting to sell some new technology to Sears to get them online so they can manage their employees and manage a lot of the things on the internet. And the guy was thrown out. They took care of me, but they didn't take care of the guy. And I watched how they rejected the future. The future was coming, but they didn't get on board. I had no idea that by 2004, this was in 87 or 88, I had no idea that by 2004 they'd be looking to file bankruptcy or have to merge with Kmart. I had no idea. Because by 1987, Kmart was the top merchandiser in that the Blue Light Special and all these different actors that they worked with, but they didn't step into the future until it was too late. What's interesting is now they're a thing of the past. You might find one or two that whatever they have left, they're going to get an all closeout sale. Target is still around, but Target, who stepped into this merchandising game around the same time as Walmart, they had it all. From their standard stores to the superstores. And right under their noses in 1997, 98 or so, when Amazon stepped into the marketplace with hardly anything going on, right under their noses when they should have moved to the online world, they didn't. They waited until Amazon became a conglomerate in every way you could imagine to take it serious. And the only thing that's really given them some leverage to save them in this game has been the pandemic, which slowed down Amazon enough to let them catch up and start moving a lot of things online. Woolworth, yeah, thank you, Miss Smiles. I remember those Ben Franklin stores. Yeah, you guys are you're up on it. You know what I have to do? I have to show some respect to my folks out at Restream as well. I mean, those are not Restream, but on Facebook and YouTube as well. And I'm going to do that. So now, let me continue. Let me continue here as I bring up my chat app. Note that where are they now? And what does this have to do with my being a leader? Well, each one of those companies had a CEO. If you didn't know it, let me give you a principle. And you can let me know if you even understand that principle or get it. Each of you that signed up for whatever companies you're in, some of you are in a host of companies. You're the CEO of your business. And what you decide will determine if you have to merge with someone else or keep starting over and doing something different. So let me assist you with that. Each one of these companies has or had a CEO who is responsible for the direction where they went. Did you know that when you sign up for a home business, I don't care if it's Amway, Mary Kay, it doesn't matter to me what it is. You are the person who's responsible for the direction it goes. And what you do and your behavior or your absence of the correct behavior will determine if you're in business or have to close it down and start a new one. If you understand that, type in the number 2, if you get that. Good. You're the responsible one. You can't blame the person that sponsored you because you're the CEO of your company. They're the CEO of theirs. And if they're making wrong decisions and you do the same thing they're doing, you're both guilty. I'll continue. So let's look at 50 years in multi-level marketing, just to give you another glimpse. Interestingly enough, they say success leaves clues. Let's talk about a clue that I want to share with you now. Here's a clue. Amway, Avon, Melaleuca, Mary Kay, right? Amway and Avon started years ago. Mary Kay, one of the very first. Still in business, still creating directors, right? They're still out there. And they're not stooping their standard just to get people to say yes. You know what's interesting about Amway or Mary Kay or Avon or Melaleuca? They're not telling people you don't have to sell, you don't have to recruit, you don't have to do any of that. They recognize if something's going to be sustained, it will require skills. Not false promises or luck. Of course you need to know how to sell. Of course you need to recruit. And there's no shame in that. As I told you yesterday, the wealthiest people in our world sell. They sell. The wealthiest people. You're on one side of the equation or the other. You're selling or you're buying. Period. And if you're wearing clothes, you bought them. Someone sold them to you, and that person made a profit from that. If you're using a computer or an iPhone, someone sold it to you. You have made a mistake to believe you're going to build wealth without selling. I don't care who has lied to you or told you that. So if it leads with no selling, no recruiting, it's just, you're not going to be talking about them 50 years from now. It's not possible. If you get that, give me number 3. It is not feasible at all. So you keep it up. You don't want to have a residual pay in, but you want a residual payout. Many are looking for a company that says, I don't want to have any monthly payments. Well, fine. You're on one side of the other equation or the other. You want a residual pay in, but you pay out, but you don't want to pay in. You would like to be able to make sales, but you don't want to sell. You want a large team, but you don't want to recruit. Am I the only person that sees the ridiculousness in this? This is what I'm talking about, leadership. I have to say the unpopular. For a lot of you, I have to become the enemy because you think that I'm casting down the other programs that you work. I'm not doing that. I'm just stating some truths. And if you want to get angry at the truth. Don't get angry with me. It's not about Ingreso Cybernetico for me. It's about leadership. And when you choose to lead, you'll be like some of these guys I'm going to be introducing you to who have started here and they're leading their own way. They have their own companies. It's not about this company. It's about what do you become in the process. If you're a man or a woman and all you do is you keep getting new people, they have names for you. Some call you an ugly name. They will call you a whore, a male or a female whore. If all you do is keep getting new things and new people. It's really weird that we praise and call people leaders when all they do is you can expect it 5 to 10 times a year they're going to tell you to get in something new. And we don't have a name for that. Let me help you. Be a leader. And when I say lead, that means if doing the thing that hurts people makes me a ton more, make a choice. And I'm talking about, that's what I like about Amway, Mary Kay, Avon. They're not making it up. They're not going to tell you a lie just to get you to say yes. They could easily create a campaign. They said, just join us. But they don't because they're looking for people who can stand the test of time with them. Ouch. Oops. But I'll continue. Let's look at multi-level marketing over the years. Noni. Visalis, 5 Links, TVI Express, Organo Gold. As any company in the world will go through changes because the world changes, the marketplace changes. We know that already. As the marketplace changes, it's okay. But we must take a look at things. Noni Juice, they were doing some amazing things. I think located out in Las Vegas, but I met people on some cruises. I met people from all over the world in that company. Visalis the same. Visalis is around 8 or 9, 10 years or whatever. I don't know if they're still here or not. They were doing some great things when they were into selling. Things didn't shift until they tried to be like everyone else, and they shifted their standard. At Ingreso Cybernetico, in order for me to lead the way, I have to create a standard, which means, yes, we could have made this an Ethereum project, but we knew it's not for the future if we do, because you can't change anything. We can't accommodate our users, so I'm not doing it. I'm telling you, it's the number one asked question I get. We're not following anyone. We're trying to lead the way to the future. We don't want to wait till the future is here to get there. We want to be there already. And the way to be there is make decisions that are unpopular, where some people are going to say, no, you're not for me. I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is I see someone out there who wants to misuse. If you're a leader and you're telling people whatever they want to hear to get their money, and then when they need you, they can't find you, you're wrong. Leaders don't do that. It's manipulation. If we see a coach or a school teacher who tells the student whatever they want to hear to get them to get an attraction for them, we call that abuse. Why don't we call that abuse when it comes to this industry? Where the person you follow, they'll show you the big check, and sometimes a company will create a fake one so they can show you that, or they will create this enormous aura around what they're doing to get you to say yes, and then they lose your number, and we don't call that abuse. I don't understand that. But some companies can stand the test of time. But when it comes to this cryptocurrency stuff, we have never seen such a high percentage of companies that start when it comes to cryptocurrency who barely can have their first birthday, in most cases won't even have a 6-month birthday. The entire world was jumping on board with a lot of these companies, Gladiator Coin, Wallet Plus, USI Tech, and countless others, right? Icon Tech. There's different types of coins. And we fell for the modern lie. You see, the modern lie has a little bit of truth in it so that everybody falls for it. So here's where I'm going to actually show my face, and then I'm going to come back to the screen because it must be done and it must be said. Oh, I never shared my screen with you guys. Oh my gosh, Dwayne, you guys are in Zoom and you're letting me talk to you. You were seeing my face the whole time. You weren't even looking at my slides. You could have told me. It's okay, but you're still here. So apparently it helped you, I guess. Were you able to see my slides? If you were here in Zoom, you can let me know.
No.
Wow, okay.
I didn't know you had a slide.
Oh, yeah. But it's okay. I'm going to go back to it in a minute. So I'm going to get back to it. Wow. But you can at least see what I'm talking about. The truth is coming out whether you see it or not. Yay? And so here's what I ask you. I'm going to see if you're familiar. If you're going to be familiar with the modern lie, when I give you one of the phrases, I want you to just type in the number 4. Not yet. Type in the number 4 when it's time. And here's what the number 4 looks. Here's what the modern lie looks like. There's truth in it, such as decentralized and a decentralized program. That's a good thing. Decentralized. But where it becomes bad and abusive is when things are decentralized that are supposed to help you. So what do companies do? They'll tell you it's decentralized and there's no admin. There's no people. There's no one to be responsible for. That's when you mix some good things with some bad. You mix some truth with some things that are not true. Not having an admin isn't decentralization. That's truly avoiding responsibility. Could you imagine that? You decide you tell your children you're in good shape. You don't have parents. You're here, but we're not going to be here. We'll leave you to yourself. It's foolish. Right now, around our industry, we have companies who are literally telling people, well, if you created this account, right, if you have an issue with it, we can't help you. There's no admin. It's decentralized. I mean, we're decentralized, but we have to take the responsibility of serving you. So you need to create a new account if you had a problem with that one. If you sent money in and the recipient didn't get it, if the recipient didn't get it and you can't get it back, you're on your own. There's no admin. No admin, they believe, means not decentralized. Decentralization is not that at all. The decentralization portion of what your business should be if it comes to cryptocurrency is a decentralization that means that you don't require a third-party vendor, such as Visa, American Express, MasterCard, Discover, or any of those things. You can have a transaction that is public and on the ledger and transparent so you can see it. Anyone in the world who looks at this hash can see that I had a transaction where I purchased something and another recipient received the money, and it's clear. No one's going to lie and say you didn't get it, and there's no double spend. It's very clear. Some of you fall for it because it sounds sexy. But the truth is, if you give your money to someone and no one's going to take responsibility, you have to ask yourself the question and stop lying to yourself when you blame a company and you say they ripped you off. They did not rip you off. You ripped you off. That's what leaders do. Today, in this leadership circle, I can't begin to train on leadership unless we have the proper perspective. And the proper perspective is, what is my responsibility in all of this? You have your own responsibility. And don't worry, yes, there are programs that we're going to pay you significantly for that. For accepting the fact that there is no responsibility. No problem. That's your choice. As long as you're willing to stand by what you're doing, right? That's your choice. It's not what I would do, right? Because I have to serve these people that I'm leading, and I can't do that when I do things that I don't believe are correct. So I can't. I'm asking you to step up to the plate and be a committed person for your people. Could you be committed for your people to serve them in that manner? Could you? Annie, this meeting is not for that. This is a leadership meeting. I'm not doing it over the Ingreso plan. I'm actually teaching leadership principles, and I will get to that in a different one. Please don't leave. Yesterday you said something and left. I answered you, and you didn't even catch it. I did respond to your email, so do that. But please, don't change the platform that I take in my time to create to really help you guys, okay? So now, I'm going to go back out here. Now you will see my screen because I've got my head together. All right, so now I'm going to get out here and we're going to go see the screen, and I'm going to finish what we started. Okay, now you can see, yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now, looking at some of these programs that have come out, that's one thing. What can we do as leaders? We can learn from the cycles that include the best of both worlds. The old school world includes longevity. I love that. It includes decisions that will affect you a year or two from now or 5 years from now. Me personally, it takes so much blood, sweat, and tears to get a business to be in profit mode alone that I would hate to start one thinking I'm only in it to just, if I could just make some of my money I put back in. Some of you have fallen for so many lies that you will start a business and you will use that mentality. You will literally say, well, if it could just stay open for 6 months so I can get my money back. That is ridiculous. Do you understand that most businesses, just look back 20 years ago, the average business didn't even break even until 5 years. But to talk 3 to 6 months, just enough to break, why would you waste your time like that? So decisions have to be made like the old schoolers who said it's about the future and today. Long term. You want to be that type of person. So as you're that type of person, what will that mean for you? Well, let's look at the best of both worlds. Old and new school, if you will. The individual and the company. As the individual, right, you have some responsibilities that you can look towards, and so does the company. There are things you'll need to eliminate and things you'll need to restore. And here's one of the things you want to eliminate. Eliminate the non-truths that will get you what I call a short-term result. Some don't care as long as that person signs up with me today. Maybe they'll never like me. Maybe they'll unsubscribe. But if once they sign up, I'm good. You want to eliminate those types of habits. You have to. You have to look beyond that. Manipulating someone to say yes. Know enough of value of what you have to offer that people want to say yes because of that. Remove yourself from the equation as far as getting it's amazing to me how we create a social media profile that will be used to manipulate rather than to influence and to lead. If I sign up with you, Tommy, because of your fancy house and your pool, and you show me that you've already made $367,000 this month, right? All those things are what you have and what you've done. They are not showing me anything about the possibilities of what's for me. I need to make sure I include some substance so that you can have a potential for something long-term. So we need to eliminate the absence of an anchor. An anchor is where for those of you who don't know boating, you drop an anchor so that you can stop moving around so much and stay put. That doesn't mean you're not an entrepreneur and can't have multiple streams of income. That doesn't mean you can't, but you need the anchor. If I look for you 6 months from now, where are you? If I look for you 90 days from now, if I've already taken $4,500, some of you $7,500 from my family to join you, do you have the audacity to pitch me before you've even stood by me as you're the CEO of the company I just was sponsored into? Do you have the audacity to be pitching me to spend another $7,500 elsewhere? We need to eliminate that. If you get that, please, if you understand why that needs to be eliminated, please type in the number 1. I don't want to be alone in this process. I want to know that you get that. Well, we need to restore. We need to restore the longevity. Yes, we do. We need to restore having a greater picture. We need to restore the fact that we took pride in what we did. We didn't have shame in the idea of selling because we knew of its importance. We know it as we look around our home. If you're living in a home, someone sold it to you. If you're renting a home, someone sold you the lease. What else? We have to think about these things we eliminate. Unacceptable practices that kill your success. I talked about a lot of them. You know of a lot of them. One of them is being artificial. Be you. Be true. Don't make stuff up because you saw someone else do it or because your sponsor does it. There's no need for it. Get rid of it. Lead. When you lead in truth, you never have to look over your shoulder. When you lead in truth, you never have to worry about the fallback that comes with these things. Let's continue. Oh, I said it. I said it already. Give me, and then I'll work. Some of you have the audacity to be the type of leader, or you call yourself a leader, and you brag that you've made hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the only way you will join a company is if they pay it for you. If you come to me, you got the wrong guy. The answer is no every time. That's a bad practice, but what do? Some of you, someone says, I'll join you, but you have to pay for it, and you pay for it. It's a business. You've started on the wrong foot. What you set in motion, you stay in motion. You just told them all the reasons why they shouldn't commit. People follow their wallet. Don't take that from them. If someone goes, yeah, you want me, you have to give me your top position, you're going to have to pay for it for me. You tell me if it's backwards or not. I got single mama over here who's been out of work for 8 months and can barely scrape enough to buy the food for her kids. We make her pay, but we're going to give the hot dog who says he or she is the best in the world, we're going to make them come in for free? Anybody, am I the only guy that's nuts on that one? Does that make sense to any of you? It makes no sense to me. What in the world? Give me and then I'll work. Listen, I started businesses, and because I had to pay for them, I had to work to bring my I remember launching my first business in 2005. I had to pay for it. I had to go 1 month without money, 2 months without money. I had to work hard to even get my first contract. Oh my goodness. If somebody did it all for me, I wouldn't have respected it. I wouldn't have that business today. You guys have to understand, don't rob people of that. Don't do it. Some of you already have generated a lot of income in your business, but you use it. You're giving away your sponsorships, and you're signing people up for people, and you're paying for it for them. You're treating them as if you are Mother Teresa. It's either business or it's a social mission, but it's not both. Open up a nonprofit, but don't you dare lead the way. You're telling your people that it's not even important enough for them to pay for it. Now, why should they go and ask someone else to pay for it when they weren't even willing? Do we get this? It's not important enough to pay for, but yet the way you make your money is people send you big. Remember, when someone pays, you get your Bitcoin in 1 to 2 seconds later. Have I earned it if I didn't even pay for it? Did I even earn it? That's not in truth. It's a lie. I'm telling people it's worth paying for, but I would not. Let's do ourselves a favor. Let's lead the way. You want people not to think about what country you're from? Lead in truth. Exercise true leadership. You want them not to think about what color you are or that you're a woman? Lead with truth, because watch how this works, folks. I can't hear a word you're saying because what you're doing speaks so loudly. That works in so many facets. Let's continue. What else should we eliminate? Cheat team members for another notch of progress. How do you do that? You cheat team members when you practice underhanded skills, underhanded practices, such as, I'm going to talk my downline into doing something that's going to pay me more money, and then when they need me for something, I won't answer. In the old days, we used to block people out because they would talk their downline member into getting them a bonus, so they would talk them into upgrading without substance. What do I mean by that? If someone asks you to upgrade and they don't give you a substantive reason why, then you know why. They want to get paid again. But if they say upgrade and they explain to you, you're now able to earn more. Right now, you're only earning $50 at a time. Upgrade to $100 because now you have access to these other products and you're going to be paid more. Now I can feel better. I know at least that there's a two-way street. Maybe they'll benefit, but they're showing me my benefits. We want to lose practices that will cause someone, you tell someone, hey, look, if you do me a favor, if you pay my way first, then I'm going to send the money back to you. That way I can upgrade, and then you can upgrade. Then you're creating these cheating ways. You're creating ways, you're cheating yourself. You're not hurting the company because it's a peer-to-peer system anyway. You're hurting yourself. Others of you, you'll do what they call stack positions. You'll buy 5 positions and then you did realize you cheated yourself because now you have to pay for all of those. Then you have to keep up with them every month. And now you wasted all this time and money because you did the wrong thing first. Lead in truth. Don't cheat team members or yourself to make progress. Just make progress. Non-personal communication. Let's see. When you wanted me to sign up, you wouldn't leave me alone. Now that I've signed up, you'll tell me to just text you. Then you'll tell me to go ask the team. Keep it, if you don't know this yet, if you've met me, you know I'm personal to the best of my ability. You can't do it. In a company this size, I can't do it. But for people who produce, right, it's clear that I should make my time for them because they produce. I'll do that for anyone. If I've got my time, if I get an email, I will check it. I will read it. I will respond. Just as I did to Annie the other day, last week when she sent me an email. I will do that. You guys have to do that. If I'm going to lead the way, I've got to lead in communication. I have to be personal in my communication. Some people, until the girl sleeps with you or the guy sleeps with you, you're personal. Then all of a sudden you're not. Keep it real the whole way through. You want to lead an organization where you can grow by leaps and bounds? Keep it real from the get. What else should we eliminate? Set it and forget it. Well, I'm telling you, I'm just trying to start my business. I'm just trying to find it, put my money in and walk away and let it just keep paying me. The reality is, if you don't know anything about physical laws or anything else, nothing stays the same. It gets better or worse. If you want something you can just put money into and it's just going to be there, how many of you already did that? Only to note that the company left. The company's gone. You just found something to set it and forget it. So if you want that, you don't want business. You're looking for a stock, right? Go purchase stock and let that work for you. That's different. You want to purchase stock and wait and let it ride it, right? That's good. But in business, you're not going to go into a business and start a business. I'm going to start a McDonald's and just leave it go. Who's going to manage the people in the front line? Who's going to manage the cooks? Who's going to manage the cash register? That doesn't work in business. Stop with that. Stop with the lying to yourself. There's no set it, forget it. If you want to grow a business, you invest yourself with your money. Don't just give money and think you've set it, forget it. Invest your money, invest yourself, invest your mind, be willing to learn what it takes to be that. So, how to restore it, how to get things right, how to add the proper things. Go all in, go full out. For once in your life, find something. For you guys, it's like you found that girl, you're going to set all the rest aside and you're going all out for her. Go all out. Give it your best. Fight for your families. Go full in, do it all. Don't leave anything unturned because it means that much to you. But if it takes second base to your sleep, second base to your entertainment, second base to your surfing, if it takes second in everything else in your life, you can't expect it to pay you the way it pays the rest of us. We've given up something. We've given up all we could. We kept things in a proper perspective. We still serve God. We still serve our families. But outside of that, anything else will take second place, third place, but not first. You have to give it a go all in, ladies and gentlemen. You have to learn to work smart and not hard. Some of you want to hustle yourself to death, and yet you will miss most of the trainings that will give you what's equipped you. Instead, you'll work hard. You'll work 7 or 8 hours doing the same things over and over, seeing minimum results, but you won't take the time. I'm amazed how many people I talk to and say, look, I haven't had time. I've been so busy. I'm like, didn't you know? Here's the rule of thumb. If you're too busy to do what you're supposed to do, you're too busy. You're not going to get it. You're too busy. Unbelievable. I want to drive the car soon. I'm ready, but I haven't had time to go to classes. Well, you don't want to drive a car. That's clear. Being busy doesn't bring you results. Being too busy makes you frustrated because you're working hard instead of smart. You're going to brag to people, I was up all day and all night. I did all these things. And yet, you have no idea what you have. I don't get it. You don't have to become a technologist. You don't have to learn to code or write emails. You just have to learn what you have to present the value. Instead, you don't know why you're not growing. You don't know what you have. You're too busy to learn what you have. I've taken out hours. I can tell you in the last 20 days, I've taken 10 hours or more out of my time to create for you the ability to know. And you won't know because you're not leading. A true leader will take on the responsibility. For my children to eat, if it means I don't eat and I don't sleep, I don't do that. Whatever it takes for them. If you're truly leading, lead on behalf of others. I've learned in order to be a great leader, I had to look at other people, things that are more important than I, to do well. That helped me a lot. Maybe you don't have the ability to do that mentally, but I do. It was easy for me to put people first who are more important than me. Their sustainability. My wife and my children, I put everything aside for them. For the God that I serve, that helped me a lot. Because if it's about me, maybe I might give up a little bit. So let's go ahead. What else is there? Commit and go all full in, as I told you. Consistent personal development. Interesting. Some of you do more talking than learning, which means you're going to run out of what you're talking about. If it's about this company, I don't get it. I don't. You want to lead? Lead by example. Me? I learned that truth, boy. I'm going to tell you, it changed my life. I had to be faithful with a little bit I knew, and then I would teach it. I'd be faithful over it and really know it. Now, I can teach on it. They don't have to go to the company when I'm going to teach it. You won't even learn what it takes so that they can be better. Now you don't know why they want to join other things. So now, we can commit together. All of us. We can change the narrative and create a culture that is not only acceptable, but we can create a culture that puts us where we belong, in the front of our ships, leading to make it better. I don't care. Listen, if you become a great leader, it won't matter if you're with Ingreso Cybernetico or not. I'll be the first to tell you. But while you're here, if you're going to be here, lead. How do you lead? By example. As a mother, if you're not sure if the cereal is too hot, you'll test it first to make sure your baby doesn't get burnt. You're going to send people to training and not even learn it yourself? Train. That's why you're here. I'm telling you. I've got some great things. First of all, there are things that are important about leadership, about being the individual I want to go over, but I needed to give you the proper perspective. You determine. 5 years from now, I can decipher if you had to be in, watch how this is. On average, 10 new businesses a year. That means you'll be in 50 different businesses in 5 years. Some of you, if you're on average 5 businesses a year, guess what? In 5 years from now, you're going to be in 25 new different businesses when you could have spent 5 years building up something that's going to pay you fortunes. You can follow everyone else who's doing that, or you can lead to a different narrative. You can lead to a different perspective. You can take no responsibility and blame every company that goes away. You can say, they took it from me. They took nothing. You went in with both eyes open. You turned your head and ignored the things that were not valid. They are not guilty 100%. They are guilty in cahoots with you. Do you get that? Yeah, people are cycling many times on level 1 because leaders are teaching level 1. It's not about levels. It's about getting people started in business at the highest level they can afford. It would make no sense for me to go to IBM and teach people. What they do is get a job at IBM to work in the mailroom. Because in the mailroom, they're going to get paid entry level. I should tell them, go apply and get the best possible job you can get so you can make more money. Of course you're right. But the reason this is happening is I want you guys to come to the leadership training so I can guide you in the proper way to do it. Of course people are doing that. Let me ask you this question. Haven't you asked yourself, if somebody's cycled 20 times on $25 level, did someone not know it takes the same amount of energy to do it at a different level? Did someone not know you can invest 25% of that, which means by now you'd be at the $300 or $500 level? I don't understand it. Maybe you do. But together, we can choose a different narrative and do the uncomfortable, do the unpopular, which what all leaders do. We put it all on the line so we can get there. Don't believe me? Interview anyone who is a 7-figure earner. They will tell you. The shortcuts don't work. The shortcuts are what all the masses do. The masses have excuses. The masses will blame someone else for the failure. The masses will. Be different. Look in the mirror and say, it is the woman that you put makeup on, or is the man that you shave. That's who's at fault. For God's sakes, lead the way. And we can do that together right here. So here's the question for you today. This is our christening of our circle, of our leader circle. Who here with me will commit? I want you to give me a number that I didn't say. Give me the number 5. If you're going to commit to lead, I will work with you. I'll give you my heart. I will give all I can to ensure that you can lead as well, that you are prepared. So that you can do this. Good. Now I'm going to ask you to stretch. That means doing some things that are uncomfortable, that are different. I'm telling you, it's not the way to go. I'm going to tell you something. If I see something, trust me, your prospects see it. We can change this together. So do this. Today, next week, I'm going to send an email message out for our first training. This was just our welcoming, our christening of our leader circle. I'm going to create within this circle some benefits that others will not get. You have to be a part of the leader circle to get it. You don't have to become the next president of the United States or anything crazy. You just have to be yourself, willing to do this and be a part. I'm going to come up with something based on this specific circle, and I'll present it, and I'll make sure I post it in our Telegram, and I will make sure that you can stay up to speed. I just want committed people. We have committed people we've been people of non-commitment so long, we don't recognize it when we see it. Therefore, we can't be it. Enough. We see it all around the world. Men who don't commit to their children, moms that don't commit to their children, no one commits to their job. People commit to the artificial things. We'll commit to our group. Everybody's a groupie, right? I'm a part of the women's group. I'm a part of this race. I'm a part of that race. We can work in groups because we don't have personal responsibility then. I'm asking you to lead in a different way where you can make choices in spite of what the group does or doesn't do. That's what we can do. So now, I'm going to open up the phone, see if there's any... By the way, congratulations to those of you on the leaderboard of the contest. I'm seeing some great things, and there's an opportunity. Right now, I will tell you one of the things, if you're a leader, do the things that you can do. Right now, there are things that many of you could do to get points. Even if you're trying to sponsor people and you're not doing it as well as you want, you could do those. Go read the rules and do that. Get yourself there, right? Also, I want you to note that as we get ready for the official, I'm going to be done with our pre-launch of the 1x2 on the 15th of the month. Prepare yourselves. In a couple of days, next week we have the paid advertising group that's going to go. You don't know this yet, but I'm going to give away the second prize winner for this contest is going to get a one-on-one with our paid advertising specialist who's going to hook you up. This guy is amazing. He's the guy that gets people to get 200 people a month coming into their teams. You'd want to win that and be in second place. Now I'm going to open up my mic and see what questions or comments anyone has, and then I'll address it before we go. And don't worry, my intensity is not anger. So go ahead. Yes, who's talking?
You kind of covered it all. You laid it out on the line like you should be.
Okay. Wow. Thank you, Tommy. Well, if there is anything someone has, it may be related to this. I will. Annie, I can help you now with your question. I won't go over the plan because that's not what this one's for. But if there's something you have a question about, anything related to that or related to this leadership at all, I would take it. Question and or comment. Please. Anyone.
I just want to say thank you, Dwayne. It's Noreen. Like, I felt like in that, when you were talking, I felt like you were saying my words. I just don't get how people just keep doing this, repeating the same thing, joining the same contracts, and then they don't make any money, and then they do it again, and then they keep on doing it again. Obviously, there's something not right if you're having to keep on jumping on every smart contract that comes out. So for me, it's so nice to actually find something that I can really just work on. And, I wanted something long, I've told you so many times, I wanted something long term. So for me, this is, I'm loving the experience already, and I know I'm going to love it even more, like, as I keep going through. So I just want to say thank you for doing this for us.
Well, it is my pleasure. I want you to note a few things. That number one, that you're there are things to think of. One of them is that we're all human beings at the end of the day. None of us are perfect. So it's very easy to get caught up in a trend. It takes leaders to call it out. So if you all who are here call it out, not hating people or not being harmful or being abrasive in your language, just present the obvious, right? When's it going to change? This is year after year. You can call it out and then give them options. That right there is a recruiting tool that works. Someone goes, oh yeah, you're right. I didn't think about it. I'm doing the same thing I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Nothing's different. And so, yeah, we need more people to lead because that's what makes guys like me the enemy.
I call it out all the time. Sometimes I feel like my Facebook is like becoming negative because I just can't see why people keep doing it, But I suppose it's true. I can, one-to-one, I can go through it with them. So yeah, thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure. But I will tell you guys, there's some things. The most important thing for all of you should be what you become in the process. You have no idea. The beauty is going to be in what you become in the process. Oh my goodness. You won't believe it. I'm so grateful today that I started when I did. What I became year after year was more important than the money I was making. At the end of the day, by the way, if you don't know this, making money is like when you heat something up. You know, the boiling point's 212 degrees. Did you know you can't tell much of the difference? If you get burnt by a boiling pot of water, if it's at 212 or 270, your body doesn't feel the difference. It just hurts. It hurts like Dickens. But you can't really measure the difference. When you start making money, there better be more to it than making money, because once your needs are met and you have things you need, there's got to be something more to it. It's like relationships. There's got to be more to it than just a kiss here and there. Well, God, I hope there's more here, right? And it's this way. So what you become in the process is the value. So I have some members that are confused about how to set up Telegram bot. Okay, great. That gives me something. Thank you, Don. I'm going to actually set that up. I'm going to actually do a video post just because I'm preparing for something this week. I will do that for you and for all of you, and I'll post it in Telegram and in YouTube. Okay, what else? Anybody else? Yes.
This is Miss Miles. How are you?
I'm really fantastic.
And I think a lot of what we see is that people have not learned the process of what you have. So I like the video you did the other week where you talk about, do you know what you have? And I'm like, wow, I don't even know what I have. How can I sell it? So I think if we do a better job letting people know what we have and understanding why they should move from one level to another level, I think that the people that we bring into this would do a much, much better job. But it starts with the leaders, just like you said. So I just thank you for this call because it set a lot of things on point for me. And so I really appreciate your training. So thank you so very much.
It's my pleasure. I will tell you, Miss Miles, that it's one of the toughest things for me because, you know, one of our highest earners in, let's say, 2014, Alfredo Delgado, he came in and was only doing the lowest level. And he would have, I don't know, he was at the top of the contest doing all this stuff. And I said, bro, slow down. You're cheating yourself. You're not making, it doesn't make sense, right? You got to be smart about this. Every time you bring people in, you're happy you're making that $50. At that time, it was $50.14, right? It was our lowest level. And he was making so much money. It was on these increments of $50. I said, every time someone upgrades to 300 or 500, you're not getting that. It's going somewhere else. Then I told him that increments of 50 is nice, but what if you doubled that was increments of 100? What if you now, instead of having 30 people that paid you $50, right, of the cycles, what if that was of a higher number? So you're right. It's not about that and what we have. There's so many things, but when I look at post, all I see over and over is $25 over and over and over again. That's not bad, but that's not going to help most people. I think it's better, and it's going to take time, but that adjustment can and will happen. So I totally recommend the knowing what you have. Actually, we're putting those in over the next 24 hours. We're putting those in the back office, those very trainings on the products and other things like what we have in the financial connection. We're uploading those all into the new user success program. But for now, people could see them on YouTube as you did. Thank you.
Okay, but also too, for those that are not as tech savvy that need a little bit more help, they're willing to do their rough drafts. Is there any, I know you have a lot of done for you, but someone that actually want to try their hands at actually doing the email campaigns. I've watched the videos that you've done, but so, when, to make it more personable, that is you, things that you would say when you're actually writing it that sound more like the individual person instead of sounding like you saying it.
Yeah, I actually have 2 specific trainings I did just on how to write the email messages that are not part of this. I did them a long time ago, right? Before I knew any of you. So I have those, and I think they were done well enough to walk you through that. So I will make those available too, okay? They're already on YouTube, but they may be on my personal YouTube because it was for anyone in any industry. But I need to make sure you guys get them as well. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Anyone else? Comment or question? Thank you very much, by the way.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Gold. Thank you for all you do in your leadership.
Who's talking? I'm sorry. I don't know who's talking. I can't tell.
It's Jim Wiggins, sir.
Oh, James. Oh, okay. Oh, BIQ. Duh. Okay. Thank you, bro. I didn't recognize. It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. A leader who serves leaders is actually doing something. Oh, hello. You got the boss here.
I'd like to introduce you to our new team member. We're getting her trained. This lady is amazing. Her name's Chana.
Hi.
She just got started on our first 3 levels, and she has a big group that she's going to be bringing in. So we're watching you and working at the same time, sir.
God bless you. It's a pleasure to meet you. I wish you all the success in your start. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All righty. Someone else was talking right before Jim said that. I don't know who it was. Someone was asking something, saying something, and I cut you off. Okay. Well, you guys are the best. You're worth it, right? You just have to know that you're worth it. You are worth it. Me taking the time to do this. Now you have to step into your power and demonstrate it. You're worth it. Who's the CEO of your business? You are. I'm the CEO of mine. I'm handling mine. Are you handling yours? I recommend doing it. Stay tuned for our next Leadership Circle Zoom. I expect great things with you, for you. God bless you guys. Have a great day. Take care.
Bye.
You bet.
Bye.
Bye.